Okay, in this next tutorial we're going to be looking at creating a quiz. Quiz is one of the most often used parts of Moodle, and it is a very powerful tool for both learning and testing. So you log into your course as a teacher and turn editing on. Once you do so, you can go to the section where you want to create your quiz and click on Add an Activity or Resource. When you do so, you're given the list of things that you want to choose from, and we're going to choose Quiz and then click Add. When we do so, then we get this screen here. We want to add the name of the quiz. This is where some people get a little bit confused. What we're doing at this page is simply creating a link to the quiz that the students will see on the course page. We're not actually creating a quiz here. It's the next few steps that we create the quiz. Here we're creating a link to the from the course page to the quiz that students will see. And on the way they'll see a description of what they have to do in that quiz. So here we write the description. Answer the questions in the quiz, then click Submit All and Finish. Okay. Also here we put in the settings for that quiz. Now you might like to have a timed quiz, in which case you can set the start and finish time in this way, or you can set it so that it automatically finishes after the students have spent a particular amount of time on it. So for example, you might like to say, well, this quiz is only available for 1 minute, and then so they have to read quickly, answer the quiz, and then send it in. Otherwise, automatically is submitted for them. Okay. Now you can change a few of the other sections there, but for this one we won't worry too much about it. We can set the grade category, and you'll find out a little bit more about grades, etc. later on. For the moment we won't worry about this. Attempts allowed. If it's a learning quiz, obviously you want the students to be able to take it many times. However, if it is a for grading, an exam or something like that, then you might want them to only take it one time. Okay, now grading method. If it's for an exam, again you might like highest grade. If you want the students to take it again and again until they get a very good grade, you might like to set it as average grade. Okay, but there are a number of different ways you can set the grading there. The layout. Okay, as shown on the edit screen, or to stop students cheating, you can set it as shuffled randomly. However, if you want the questions to start out easiest first, more difficult later, then you obviously want to keep it as shown on the edit screen. Okay, this can affect the load on your server. If you have a quiz with say 100 questions and they all appear on the one page, that's an incredible load on the server, so you might want to change this to a new page for every question, or something I do for my bigger quizzes is every 3 questions. Okay, question behavior, shuffle within questions. Again, this helps to stop students cheating. If you have an ABCD multiple choice question, the student that takes the quiz on one computer, their A option will be different to a student on another computer's A option if you shuffle within questions. And this is pretty much standard. You have to have some strange reasons, I think, for changing that. Deferred feedback, how questions behave. Again, this is particularly good for learning examples. Adaptive mode allows the student to take the quiz, check their answer very quickly, and before finishing the quiz, they can check each question whether they are correct or not. They don't have to wait until the end of the quiz to find out. That's what adaptive mode is. Deferred feedback, that's okay, after you've finished the quiz, then you get your results. Now, adaptive mode is very good for learning exercises. Deferred feedback is better for exams and ones that require actual testing of standard knowledge. There are some other options there. Adaptive mode no penalties is also a very good one for learning. We might choose that one for now. We don't want to penalise the students for learning. Okay, review options. Okay, if it's a learning exercise, then you want all of these checked. But if it's an exam and you maybe don't want to give the students the grades immediately after they're finished, you want to check and maybe add some grades or reduce the grades depending on how students go, then you might want to take away, uncheck all of these. Okay, if you're going to display, this is for your benefit, and you can change those. And if you want a password, and this is a good one to stop students all clicking at exactly the same time. If you put a password in here, students have to type it in, and it means they'll click on the quiz to start at a little bit of a staggered rate, and that reduces the weight on the server, particularly if you're doing a very big quiz at exam time. Now you can give overall feedback. If the students receive 100%, give them that feedback. If they perhaps if they go below 50%, you might like to say, okay, you'll have to see me after class, etc. like that. And then the other common modules that you've seen on the forum one. You might like to hide that if you want to do it at a later stage and don't want students seeing it. Okay, after you've said all that, then you click on Save and Display. And now we have created the link to the quiz. What we want to do now is actually add a question to the quiz, because we've added the link to the quiz, but there's no question there. So we're going to edit the quiz. When we click on Edit Quiz, we see this one here, and you might have over here on the right a question bank contents not showing. So we want to show the question bank contents. When we do so, we see this screen here, and we can see categories. Now, we'll talk a little bit more about categories at a later date. For the moment, though, we're just going to create a new question. So we click on Create a New Question. When we do so, we get an option here of the different question types that Moodle has as standard. There are other options that are non-standard question types. At the moment, we're just looking at the standard question types. Today we're going to do a multiple choice question, as they seem to be the most common ones. Choose multiple choice and click Next. Okay, then what we see is a multiple choice question. So, where is this question going to be? It's in the default for EC1, and that's the name of our course, isn't it? The short name. Okay, and that's the default in there. Once you get your head around categories, etc., you'll be able to choose different ones there. Okay, now the question name is very important, because if you start creating hundreds of questions, you will need to remember what this particular question is about. Okay, so you might like to take a little bit of time and really think about what question name you're going to give a particular question. Okay, so we go through this particular question. Okay, what is the capital city of Australia? Now, there's only one answer to that. You can have multiple choice questions with multiple answers, and you can choose that there. Okay, we go through where the correct answer is Canberra. So we have to give that grade 100%. If you remember, we chose randomize the choices once students go attempt the quiz. So every single choice one we can put as the correct answer, because it's going to be randomized later on by the computer. Okay, you can give feedback. So Canberra, okay, that's the one, correct, well done. Okay, you can, if they've made a mistake, okay, the other options here. Well, give the feedback. It's the biggest city, but it's not really the capital, is it? Sorry, we've gone ahead of ourselves there. And we give the other choices. Now, you don't have to supply feedback, but often it is a good learning thing to offer. Sorry. obviously for wrong answers the grade is 0. Okay, then we go through, you can, again, multiple examples there, multiple tries. Okay, we perhaps don't want any penalties, but if we've set adaptive mode with no penalties, then this won't be a problem. Okay, you can offer hints. You can tag the question for easier searching at a later stage if you want. Then you click on Save Changes. After you click on Save Changes, we can see that this question is saved over here, and it's in the bank, but it hasn't been added to the quiz yet. Okay, so we've created it in the bank, but it hasn't been saved in the quiz. So we want to add it to the quiz. We click here. When we do so, now we can see that the question is in the quiz. We can preview this single question by clicking here. Okay, and as you can see, these are all mixed up. They're not in the order that we put them in, automatically mixed up for us. And you can check that it's correct, fill in the correct response. There it is. A bit slow. There it is, Canberra. Or you can go over to the administration menu and click on Preview. When you do so, then you get a full preview of the quiz. Okay, at the moment there's only one question in the quiz. That's a basic outline of how to create a simple quiz in Moodle 2.6.